The goal at every media outlet is the same: to destroy the Second Amendment and literally juice America, push them into a frenzy over guns, all in an effort to publicize the anti-gun march this weekend, deceitfully titled A March for Our Lives, a march that future socialist running mates George Clooney and Oprah Winfrey have each given $500,000 to support. Publicly announcing their donations, Clooney declared, quote, "Our children's lives depend on it." And Oprah went so far as to compare the anti-gun march to the heroics of the Freedom Riders, a nonviolent civil rights group backed by nonviolent heroic partners. But here's the major problem with Clooney's fake compassion for children and Oprah's rewrite of history. March for Our Lives is backed by radicals with a history of violent threats, language, and actions. These people don't help America's kids. They are using and endangering them, and they are anything but nonviolent. Oprah, Clooney, and their media henchmen won't tell you the truth, but we here at NRA TV will. I'm committed to exposing the violent, even deadly history of these people behind this weekend's March for Our Lives anti-gun fraud of a protest. Let's start with the organizers of the Women's March. They're a major force behind it.
Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I am outraged. Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Well, who could forget that? Well, it seems like Oprah did, because that is not the nonviolent language of historic heroes like the Freedom Riders. Sounds a lot more like the Weather Underground to me, a communist group that threatened, bombed, and set fire to the democratic institutions it didn't like. So Oprah, you tell me, how is Madonna's language and your friends on the left's refusal to condemn it making our kids safe? And George Clooney, is this the type of woman your children should rely on?
I am not as nasty as your own daughter being your favorite sex symbol. Like your wet dreams infused with your own genes.
George Clooney, how would you feel if Ashley Judd attacked, sexualized, and publicly demeaned your daughter because she didn't like you? And Oprah, the Freedom Riders you compare this latest march to, they non-violently protested segregation, the idea of separate but equal. Yet here it seems that if you're a conservative woman, like Ivanka, you receive separate treatment because nothing happened to Ashley Judd for her disgusting sexualized comment. In fact, the same Hollywood that wants Oprah to be president of the United States now hails Ashley Judd as the leader of their Me Too movement. But the violence of the Women's March gets much worse. Like when the organization honored Assata Shakur, a member of the underground terrorist group that killed a cop. Quote, "Happy birthday to the revolutionary Assata Shakur." That was the tweet. Yes, the Women's March, a major force behind the March for Our Lives, the protest Oprah and Clooney gave $500,000 to, celebrated a cop killer. And what about the violent Women's March leader, Linda Sarsour, who's called for jihad against the White House, who supports Sharia and advocates for female genital mutilation? Is that not dangerous? Is that not life-threatening? Is that supporting the so-called mission of the March for Our Lives? Refuse to allow one more needless death. And it's not just Linda Sarsour. Women's March leader Tamika Mallory is an apostle of the violent Louis Farrakhan. She listens on as Farrakhan preaches violent anti-Semitic threats. She takes selfies with a man who claims Hitler was a very great man, that's a direct quote, who preaches, quote, another one, God will destroy America by the hands of the Muslims. The Women's March, a major force behind the anti-gun March for Our Lives, is led by radicals who threaten to blow up the White House, sexually smear the first daughter, honor cop killers, advocate for jihad, Sharia, and female genital mutilation, and adhere to the violent, threatening rhetoric of the anti-Semite Louis Farrakhan. And that's just the start of their violence. And yet these radicals are using our kids. They are putting them in front of cameras. They are telling them to walk out of schools across America. They are teaching them the very freedoms that this country, my country, was built upon are wrong. And Oprah and George Clooney fund this fraud where violent, dangerous extremists use our kids to push their anti-American agenda. And they try to rewrite history to do it. Well, let me tell you this, Oprah and Clooney. You can throw your billions at your anti-American causes, but you can't bury the truth. We here at NRA TV will not let you. So you stay the hell away from our schools and stay the hell away from our kids.